skip ahead here to another guy who now might be going to jail. Some unknown amount of time.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I don't know if this man's going to jail. I'd like him to go to jail. That'd be fun.
Donald Trump. So the interesting thing, this is what I said before. This is what I literally said this last episode. I was like, I don't care unless they actually bring the charges. You feel me? January 6th committee, which kind of was like a whole bunch of, I don't want to say smoke and mirrors, but a bunch of like hubbub. You know what I mean? Just for them to actually present their information.
It was a lot to do about nothing. They wanted to televise it and like make it a spectacle, because I think because they didn't want him to have the steam to run. But
well, definitely
I think that backfired.
They definitely did this right now to try to stop him from running again. I'll get there.
Which he's already doing.
I'll get there. Yeah, he's already announced he's doing it, but I'll get there. First part being though that like I'm always saying like I don't really care, but the January 6th committee, which basically Congress's version of a book report or something like that, you know what I mean, where they're just coming up, showing their slides, bringing up people.
They're doing a history presentation.
Exactly, and none of it really means anything, you know what I mean, because they're not charging him or anything like that. It finally comes to an end, and it actually was pretty poignant for me watching the like final closing stuff. I watched
the very first one and was like, yo, this is crazy. But then they
dragged on. Yeah. That's I think that was the problem with them. But I finally watched the last one, right? The last one actually is pretty wild, and the way they say it too, they're like, this is unprecedented and been treated as such. You know what I mean? This guy is fully not fit to be president again whatsoever. We recommend the Department of Justice charge him criminally. That's pretty big. I know the Department of Justice already has their own, you know. Honestly, they could take this January 6th committee report and just like straight to the fire. But I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty big. Yeah. What if he does go to jail? That'd be giant. Downfall of America is already happening. Former president, like.
I don't think it'll happen. I think it'd be pretty cool if it would happen. Did you see that Kanye West reached out and asked Donald Trump to be his VP?
Yeah, I did, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, that man's crazy. Both of them men are crazy.
Just one episode about Kanye.
So yeah, I don't think he's going to go to prison, because politicians don't go to prison unless you're the governor of Illinois.
You have to explicitly say things.
You have to like really go on record.
Dog his shit.
Yeah, he got caught on like what 6 or 7 different wiretap phone calls, being like, "No, I'm a."
Is it that many?
I don't know how many it was.
Seat up for
I just know I know those words of like, it's a Senate seat. I'm not giving it up for nothing.
Yeah, man.
It was like
every person of a certain age remembers that part of the conversation.
That conversation, and they remember that recording. So unless.
I still remember the time I saw Blagojevich just jogging.
Yeah.
North, and he was like, "Keep your nose clean."
Yeah, like, stay out of politics, kids.
Yeah, stay out of politics. Oh man, yeah.
But
I don't think he's
unless they have something like that on him. I don't think he will go to. I don't think you can. Like, it's the same thing. Were you at the Travis Lala show when he played Perry's and got kicked off and arrested?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't there, but I know about it.
Like, he got arrested for inciting a riot.
Yeah.
And unless they can show clear conspiracy that's tied directly back to Donald Trump, prove that he had knowledge of what these independent groups like the Proud Boys and the one crazy Nazi white supremacists, unless they can prove that he had knowledge of what their plans and intent were, don't think that there's serious criminal charges outside of maybe inciting a riot, which I don't think in a court case you could really make a good case for inciting a riot. So
it's not just about inciting a riot. You really got him on like the things that he was saying and the things that were coming from his camp. The preparedness of the people who are actually
of sedition for criminal.
Well, that seems to be like what they're actually going for, is like, of course, it being unprecedented is the tough part. You know what I mean? Like, you can't never charge the president for this kind of shit, so you'd have to dig back into some precedent. Some lower
so the charges
person.
Of
the Blagojevich stuff gets brought up.
The charges of sedition is conduct or speak inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or a monarch. If that's a criminal charge, then I think that yes,
I think that 100% fits the bill. Actually,
is sedition. I saw Sedition Act.
Yeah.
When I looked it up, is sedition a criminal offense?
So like with the
sedition is a serious felony punishable by fines and prison time.
Yeah, things like treason and sedition, they kind of make up as they go along. They're like,
it refers to the act of inciting revolt or violence against a lawful authority with the goal of destroying or overthrowing it.
Bro,
that kind of fits what he did.
That's so extremely what he did.
That's exactly what he did. He legitimately said, "We're gonna march to the Capitol and we're gonna stop.
We're gonna stop the vote. We're gonna stop it from overturning."
Okay, now I changed my tune. I would say that I think you can 100% make a solid case that you found guilty of.
So the will he is a different thing.
Yes, that's what I was going to get to next. Yeah. I was going to say, is this actually going to happen? And that's where I say I'm leaning towards a heavy no, because none of that's not like.
But the reason why they did this, the January 6th committee, it seems to be, is to stop him from running, and especially stop him from gaining office again in 2024.
Which the people that voted for him the first time and that stormed the Capitol and that will vote for him a second time.
Yeah.
They're like this. If you do a sedition trial, if you charge him with sedition, and any other criminal charges, all you're gonna do is fluff up and like fan air to the fire and make that fire bigger of his base. His base is going to see this as they're trying to take down our president. They're conspiring against him. It's an inside job because you know that if that happens, that's all he's going to say.
Well, yeah, so I do see that. But at the same time, I don't think we're going for those diehard Trump voters. You know what I mean? We're looking for people who are maybe thinking about voting for Ron DeSantis. You know what I mean? Ron DeFuture. Ron DeSanctimonious. You know what I mean? Like, if he can galvanize enough votes to become the Republican nominee, then one, that might implode the Republican Party in general. If it's now Trump versus DeSantis, that might be too much for them to handle. But also, you know what I mean, it's just gonna make Trump's base very weak, you know what I mean? Because he's not some god, you know what I mean? Someone else comes along saying the same, you know, aggro propaganda rhetoric, like they're gonna get the same people roused up, you feel me?
It's true. I don't know. I'm just, with all the policy, number one, I'm just so being an adult and
which is also, is it so different than it used to be? You say being follow that, like back in, you know, the early, might have known about politics and stuff like that, attached at it like to the hip with our stuff like that. It has changed the landscape. Like our parents when they were 20 something not have this much political, well, not influence, but you know, their ear to the shit.
I think if he gets charged with criminal charges prior to having a nomination, it's a good thing. And I think it pretty much kills
head in the water.
But if there's like all this speculation and all this bullshit going on and he gets the nomination and then they file criminal charges, it's going to backfire.
Yeah, and it is kind of the same way that the Hillary's emails thing came out, like right at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
True.
He's something to keep tabs on.
We'll see, man. I'm just glad that the ball is moving, is all I can say. Because that's more than most things that happen in Washington, you know?
True.
If the ball is moving, then we're headed in a direction.